They're off in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Golden Powell broke like a rocket. There he goes out to a 2-length early lead right away. Lieutenant Dan away running in second. Caravelle is third. Emiratiana is fourth on the inside. Then Gear Jockey. Charmaine's Be up between horses. Glass Slippers is 7 lengths off the lead. She's on the rail. Then Chaos Theory, A Case of You, followed by Fast Boat, Extravagant Kid. And the trailer is Kamari. The leader is Golden Pal. And he rattles around the far turn with a length and a half advantage over Lieutenant Dan in second. Emiratiana third on the inside. Caravelle 3 wide. Gear Jockey between those two. Glass Slippers with work to do. They're into the stretch. And they gotta get Golden Pal. Golden Pal now set down Mayorat Ortiz. Lieutenant Dan trying to make a race of it in second. Emiratiana's third on the inside. But it is Golden Pal. Golden Pal. Wire to wire in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Lieutenant Dan was second. Charmaine's Be got third.
Okay, so welcome to the Future Stars Forecast 2022 edition. This is our 4th season. Thank you so much, Ari, for tuning in. That, of course, Golden Pal, what an ambassador for the entire program, right? Future Stars Friday, he is a legitimate luminary. And who better than to usher in this new season of the forecast than his trainer, Wesley Ward. Wesley, thank you so much for your time, first and foremost. Looking back at Golden Pal winning the Juvenile Turf Sprint, and now where he is, a 2-time Breeders' Cup champion, having won the Turf Sprint, what are your feelings? I mean, there's got to be a lot that goes into it because you knew all the preparation. You knew he had a lot of talent from the jump. Because I remember you talking about how when he walked in, he was kind of like this football player. He knew he had the stuff. And he's proved that out. So looking back and now where you are, can you reflect a bit for us?
It's just been a great run with this guy. He's a tremendous talent from the onset. And I've sort of, when I got him and I believed in this horse so much, and for it to come out and come to fruition, it's just fantastic.
And now, I mean, we've taken him across the pond a few times, but I've been reading these quotes from you from Racing TV. And before you said he had something to prove if you were going to say he's the best horse you've had. You're now saying that. So what are your expectations? You seem very bullish on him, that he is better than ever. And you're really expecting to see him come through with that Royal Ascot win in the King's Stand.
There'll be no excuses. He's ready. Yeah, he says, I mean, it's a horse race, as you know, so anything can happen. But, if ever I led one over there that I had sincere belief in, it would be him. I've had horses in the past that I've been, very, very forward on and thinking they're going to do it, and they do let you down from time to time. But this particular guy, I'll tell you, I don't think it's going to happen. He's ready. He's every work has been exactly pristine to what I want to see. And, we planned everything. Blake Keep is traveling this evening on a Brookledge van, taking him to Indianapolis Airport, along with the other 4.
Wow.
The other 4 Barbara Banke horses. And they're going to get on the plane this evening and fly, get a direct flight to Stansted. And, then they only have a 10-minute ride from the airport to Chelmsford Racecourse, which is new. I haven't ever shipped to stable there in the past. I've always tried different locations, but I just wanted someplace from this journey that they have to where they can get off and get off the plane, get in the van and get right into their stall and just kind of rest up. And, the training's over. It's just a question of just sort of making everything, all the accommodations right to where they're happy until on Sunday morning they get to Ascot.
Is that the most nerve-wracking part, the shipping them across? It's such a long journey. How do you prepare horses for a trip like that?
Every horse is different. Some horses are fickle, some horses aren't, some horses don't care. They travel. We've got one in the group, Campanelli, that she's got to travel with a pony, and anywhere she goes, she's got to have a buddy with her. Last year when we went to Ascot, but we came back and then we went to France. we sent Twilight Gleaming with her.
Yes.
And Twilight Gleaming, you could bring her right here in your living room, and she'd be eating hay while you were drinking a beer, watching a football game. I mean, nothing bothers her at all, you know. And she went over there, ran, won, and Campanelli didn't. But she's very funny about particular of where she likes to be and where she doesn't like to be, and so we try to accommodate her every wish. She's a queen. But
Well,
Golden Pal, no problems.
Oh, well, I love that. And can you also just talk about, well, first of all, I have to say, and you already know this, but to those watching who maybe you've never tuned in before, I have a very special soft spot in my heart for Golden Pal. His previous owner and breeder, Randall Lowe, actually has treated me as part of the team. I was there in the winner's circle with y'all after that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint win. That was incredible. That picture is actually hanging on my wall right there. And he's just a really cool horse, not only because of what he himself has accomplished, but being the son of a Breeders' Cup champion in Uncle Mo, who won the juvenile back in 2010. So from that pedigree perspective, then being out of Lady Shipman, that's always exciting to me because I am the petty geek. But Randall sold him to Coolmore. And I'm sure that it crossed your mind, oh, well, they may want to retire him sooner than later. What was that conversation like? Do you remember when you got the phone call where you got the green light? No, let's keep going.
Well, right as he crossed the finish line there, I was next to Michael Tabor, and and I asked him right then and there. I said, you know, this horse is very sound, and he's, as you just seen, he's an extreme talent, and it would be great if you could keep him in training one more year. I think there's more to prove, and there's more to the horse. You know, it's not like he's coming to the end of the career. He's kind of starting to budding career right now. And Mr. Tabor went and spoke with the partners involved, you know, John Magner and Derek Smith and everyone involved in the horse. And the Coolmore team agreed that they were going to give me one more year with him, which I was very thankful for. So
yes.
I was elated because I really think that this is going to be an unbelievable year. Like he's grown in size. And mentally, you know, he's really come around mentally as well to where he's really going to have a big, big year.
Oh, yes, for sure. And just to clarify at the top of the show, I played this turf sprint, not the juvenile turf sprint, with him getting that exceptional victory where his dam, Lady Shipman, had run second, actually, when she contested it at Keeneland as well. Sometimes that happens. Get a little mess up with the replays here. But that being said, the one thing that has stayed the same is just the alacrity, the way he breaks. How rare is that to have a horse who can just, you're known for that. You're known for getting these horses to break really well, to put themselves into position. But with this horse in particular, his speed, you've been around a lot of speedy horses. Just how far removed is he into the elite sprinters?
But he's the best I've ever had. You know, I've had fast ones. You know, that's my game. But this guy is, you know, he's very smart, very intelligent horse, and so he stands in the gate like a statue. You know, and it's, you know, a lot of horses get nervous in there, or they'll be up at the front or in the back, and he'll stand there, and he just pierces his eyes on the gate, and when they open, you know, there's no fidgeting in the gate or anything. Boom, he's gone. You know, and that's an advantage. More so an advantage in the United States than it would be over in Europe. But it can play into our hand as well over there, to where, you know, he can get out and get position and then kind of, you know, hopefully back up the pace a little bit and then go, because, you know, anybody that runs with him early is gonna pay for it late.
Well, that's for sure.
and you know, we will as well. But you know, he's a rarity in a horse that can go fast early and sustain. You know, most horses, you know, if they go too fast early, they're going to fold late. Yeah. This guy has, you know, he has a cruising speed that's higher than most horses' normal speed, as we've seen. And you know, he can break and go fast, but keep running. You know, he has no issues breathing or bleeding or anything like that we have to contend with, and he's very sound. So that is what really his strengths are.
Mapping things out, provided everything goes to plan, he wins the Group 1 King's Stand, which you won before with Lady Aurelia for Stone Street and with Johnny Velasquez up. That's always fun seeing a horse like that take on the boys at Group 1 level and winning. And what a decorated horse she. I mean, when you talk about Golden Pal being the best you've trained, I mean, she's right up there, I'm sure, in your heart.
Yeah. She was a scorcher.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, what is the ideal plan for this 2022 campaign?
Well, ultimately, we're going to culminate it in Australia, more so to sort of show everyone down under the talent he has for breeding. So just real excited about that as well.
Forgive my ignorance, but have you ever taken a horse down under?
I did. I personally didn't, but I sent a horse down there, Cannonball, and he went. We had a plan that we went from the Breeders' Cup, of which he was third at Santa Anita, and then we went to Hong Kong, and then our plan was to go from there down there, and it all worked. Unfortunately, I could not go down there, and I've never been to Australia.
Oh, really?
But I had a horse, Pleasant Prince, on the Derby Trail at the time, and I got beat half a thumbnail in the Florida Derby, so I couldn't make it down for the race. I really want to go to Australia. I haven't really had a real true reason other than say a sale or vacation to get there, and I just but now I do, so I'm excited.
Well, that's awesome. And like you're talking about the breeding, they love their sprinters there for sure. And with Coolmore having all their operations, it just makes sense. And I'm sure you'll have a fun time. Won't be the same top hat and tails though, right?
No, it won't, but it'll be a great experience, something I've never done.
What is the best part of Royal Ascot and what is the most nerve-wracking?
It's we planned for this, for 15 years now. So, and I know, I don't need anybody to show me around in England anymore. I mean, I rent a car and I know just where I'm going. And
is the family going with you this time?
Oh yeah, they're all excited. So, my son, when we first won the Strike the Tiger and Jealous Again, he was like 10 years old, and he put the hat on, and he has ears who are holding the hat, so now he's 23 years old and just finished his first year in law school here at UK, and he's got all kinds of friends over there from going back and forth every year, and they come over here and stay with us, and he goes over and stays with them, and so it's just a great experience.
Oh no, it sounds fabulous. And I mean, we have to talk about the other horses. You mentioned Campanelli. This relationship you've had with Stone Street and Ben McElroy. How did that come about in the first place?
I just had a lot of success with Ben, prior to Stone Street.
Yeah.
We've done some things together where he's gave me some great horses to train, and then he got in with Stone Street with Leslie Howard, and it all, he's done wonderful for Barbara. I bought her some great horses, and we've got some great prospects this year. So I'm fortunate that he's doing a great job and putting the athletes in my barn where we're doing good. That's everything right there.
So I just out of curiosity, when you have a horse like Lady Aurelia, actually I have this picture from when she went through, and then she ended up just being bought out by Stone Street for the broodmare ban. But let's see if I can pop this up here. Okay, so there she was, and my daughter was just a little teeny tiny there, as you can see. But she's since had a couple of foals. I think she has a curling colt, and now she has an intermission filly. So do you get dibs as trainer?
We try to.
You're like, hey, come on, right? Got to keep it in the family, right? But yeah, what a horse she was. I just real quick, because you're talking about how that speed. I have the end run here of the King's Stand where she just blitzed them, and just let's see here. I hit play. When you're watching your horse come down the street like this, I'm guessing right here, you already knew that you had this one, right?
Not till about right here.
Okay.
When she kind of kicked it in, and Johnny rode a very patient race that day. It was actually a pickup mount. Frankie got hurt, Frankie got hurt. He got thrown from a horse at a previous meeting prior to Ascot, and he just so Johnny was there, and he rode a beautiful race.
Yeah, you've got a great relationship with him as well. I know Arad is actually going to be riding all your Royal Ascot horses. He's just been, I mean, he's always been a more than capable rider, riding at the top of the game. But he just seems to be more in the zone than ever. So going over there and knowing that you've got this rider who's probably just, I would think, riding the best he's ever ridden, does that give you all the more confidence? Or, I mean, obviously you've ridden with Frankie for many, many years. But is there something about having a ride who's, for example, been on Golden Pal so often and for these biggest wins, something that gives you even more confidence in how these horses are going to perform? Because I know he's gotten on them in the morning as well.
He knows the horses, and but besides that, he's he's not where he is right now because he's not a talented jockey. He's won everything, and he's very patient. That's what I like about it. You go to Europe, you want to be going 100 miles an hour. You're not gonna be there at the end of the race. This is it's racing over there is different than here. We kind of go fast early, and usually a lot of the horses that are up in the forefront of the race, if not all, they keep running, especially in sprints. But over there is not the case. And so he'll get on a lot of horses of mine, which are fast, 2-year-olds or sprinters, and he'll end up easing them back, and then they kick right in. So that's one of the reasons why I like him. He's, I'm, as you say, known for getting the horses out of the gate and getting them going. Well, he gets them out of the gate, and he'll ease them back, and then come the last little bit.
And he's so brave.
He's a winner. That guy, really. If you see him, he's a very fierce competitor, and he loves to win. Not that everyone doesn't, but he's that's what he's about.
And especially, you've got these big fields there. You yourself, if people don't already know, before you were training, you were 1984's champion, Eclipse champion apprentice jockey. And you come from, you've got the genetics, as they say. Your dad is Dennis Ward, who, being a Tampa girl, I love Dennis. And Dennis himself rode too. And this just goes back. Do you feel like you would have somehow, some way, you still would have found your way to horses, even if you didn't already have this nature and nurture going on? Or was it something that you just had to fall into because it's basically the family business?
I'm from a very small town in Yakima, Washington, outside of Yakima, Sela. And, there's nothing but livestock, animals, horses, and cows. If there wasn't a racetrack, I don't know if I'd have found my way there. I'll tell you. But when I did, I loved the horses, and couldn't wait. I had a dream to be a jockey, and rode at all the small tracks in Washington. And then my sights were to go to New York to be a jockey and win the Eclipse Award. And did that, and I hung on for about another 5 years until I ate my way out of the saddle, and I just fell into training, and it's just been can't wait to get up every day to go to work.
Okay, out of curiosity, have you ever, or is there any part of you that's wanted to get aboard any of your horses, just in the morning? Or
no, I still gallop from time to time.
Okay.
There was an unruly horse or something like that. And, up until recently, I was breaking most of the horses with the boys and spending all day at the farm.
Oh.
And now just kind of busy, so overseeing it all.
So have you been on Golden Pal?
I've never been on Golden Pal.
Don't you want to before he retires?
No, that part of me. It's not like something that I really want to do. I want to watch Golden Pal go into the winter enclosure there at Ascot. That's what I want.
Okay. I don't know. I just personally, as somebody with a riding background, not like you, of course, but there would be just a part of me that if I did have that race experience in my background where I had an Eclipse Award on my mantle, I would be like, you know what, before he retires, let me take him around, one spin around the track, just see what that engine really feels like. But that's me.
Now that part of me's over, you know. But I really enjoy watching the workouts, especially for him. His workout before last, the last workout was just kind of, Julio was just kind of just cruising on him. But the workout before last, it was the best work I've ever had a horse race.
It was a bullet, right?
I would imagine, but it was a deep track. We had a lot of rain here, and Keelan was kind enough to let us on the grass course there for all the, not just mine, but all the horses for Belmont week and for the horses going to Ascot, not just mine but others. And we had a 2-year-old Breeze, and Wayne Catalano did as well, one that was going to go over there, and they kind of clicked off, you know, a pretty good pace, going a half mile for the first quarter, a little faster than I would have liked. And they just, down the lane, it was really, really deep for those 2-year-olds, and they were just floundering the last 1/8 of a mile. And so Golden Pal, who's a bigger, heavier, stronger horse, if you would have watched him breeze over what you've seen with the 2-year-olds, comparing it to him, he was like a deer skipping through a field. I mean, he was just going and hardly hit the ground. It was just amazing to watch. I mean, I've never had one do that. And he was just, you know, and Julio got off, and he felt the same way. And he was on the horse, like you say. Would I ever want to be? No, I don't want to see Julio Garcia, a little tiny, where I know they're going to be safe when they come out of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, is it true? You're talking about these horses and being in the game, that type of impulsion coming out. Is this one of those horses that you just grab that fistful of mane and just stay out of his mouth and let him go?
No, I think, you know, he's a very smart horse, and what separates him a lot from almost all of my horses is, especially like Breeders' Cup Day and here in the spring when he ran in the Shakertown, he comes in the paddock, and he's at the barn, he's a really good feeling, playful guy, always coming. I'm always playing with him. But when he's on the track, or when he comes in, when you're in the saddling enclosure into the paddock, if you were to measure his girth, I guarantee you he swells. Like, you know, weightlifter after they weight. When they lift weights, I mean, his whole chest, and he gets very, very focused when he's walking around the paddock. Like, you can just see his whole demeanor change.
Oh, I've seen him in the paddock.
He's an unbelievable talent. You know, I just can't, and have never been able to say that much about it. You know, I mean, I just keep going on, but he just keeps showing everybody what he is.
Well, he won the Shakertown in his last start. This is the replay of that race. He was just never. This was with such ease. This was so well within himself, and he exploded out of the gate and never looked back. So, as a trainer, when you're watching this, what are your thoughts? I mean, as a fan, we're just like, well, hot diggity. But from from your perspective.
Well, this was an impressive race because he's coming off a layoff from the Breeders' Cup, and he was coming into this race getting prepared in Kentucky. So you're having to contend with the weather in all of his preparations, getting him to there. You know, it's not like he's at Santa Anita and in the wintertime where you don't have, weather issues. I mean, we had to, it's freezing cold out. And to get him ready to do this and for him to actually do this, like, he should really move forward from this race is that, even though he's had ample enough works, now he has this race and he has, beautiful weather outside where his workouts are here on the Keelan grass course. And this race and his preparation since with ample spacing should put him that much more forward, of which, the horse that was second in there, I don't know where he would run in the King's Stand in Ascot, but it certainly wouldn't probably be second. So, I mean, there's going to be some very, very good horses in this race, and he's ready for it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Golden Pal. I will say shout out also to he's got a Randy bred Lady Shipman back to Uncle Mo. So there's a full sister on the ground right now. And that's, of course, very exciting. And then we're going to talk about another relationship in just a little bit that you've got running here on Thursday at Belmont, actually. But we got to go back and talk about Campanelli, right? I mean, Campanelli, cool horse, like you're talking about. She had her little shipmate and Twilight Gleaming, and Twilight Gleaming went on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, and she just recently won the Mamzelle, correct?
That's right.
And what is, by the way, what is in store for Twilight Gleaming? How did you decide which horses were going to ship over for Ascot and which were going to stay here?
Well, Twilight Gleaming is limited in distance.
Okay.
So, she's better at 5 furlongs than 5.5. So those are the races we're kind of looking at, and you got to kind of pick and choose. There's a race at Goodwood that she could possibly run in. Again, we'll sit down as we get a little closer to it. It's in July 31st. It's a big race over there, and it's 5 furlongs. And their 5 furlongs are different than ours, where they start right on the 5 furlong marker. Where ours, you got a little bit of a running start to it before the time starts. So that's an advantage for her, because she really doesn't want 5 furlongs in a jump. She wants 5 furlongs.
Yeah, she's like, forget the run up.
Yeah. So it's downhill as well there. So that could be a possibility, but we'll have to sit down and talk to Barbara, because unfortunately there's just no real 5 furlong when you have a Breeders' Cup winner and an accomplished filly like her. We're looking for graded races to build her resume up and add to her resume, and there's just not a lot of them here in the States.
Well, going back to Campanelli, she's been a talent from the jump. She won her first 3 starts, including the Queen Mary. Then she won the Prix Morny, and then she went back to Ascot Commonwealth Cup. I know that was officially through disqualification, but she was right there with that other horse. So I would still count that as a win-win. And now she's coming off a win in the Giants Causeway, which I have a replay here of. So with Campanelli, what we're pointing her now to the Platinum Jubilee. That's going to be on the final day. So you really have a great bookend, right? You've got Golden Pal, first day of Royal Ascot, which kicks off June 14th. And then you have her bookending it there in the Platinum Jubilee, which you won when it was the Diamond Jubilee with Undrafted in 2015. So what a way for this week to go for you, right? Or these 5 days.
Yeah. The Jubilee, the Queen only gives 2 trophies out, the Queen's Vase and this Jubilee. So it would be great to win that again. Undrafted was a very, very exciting race.
Oh, yeah.
And it's my most exciting race I've ever won.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What made... tell us why in particular. I mean, we can guess, but
again, I had my children there, and as I said, the Queen presented us the trophy afterwards. But he was a very, very special horse to us. Gatewood Bell brought the horse, and for Wes Welker, and Saul Koolman bought in just prior to the race. But he was as he was maturing, he was evolving, getting better and better. And he was a very fickle horse to ride. He had to come from behind. He had to get him to the outside. And I told Frankie all this, and he said, "Don't worry, I got it." No, don't worry about it. I got it. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. And he rode him like a master. I mean, it was one of the greatest, if not the greatest ride of all time, because you think about a straightaway. It's different than coming from behind and around the turn and easing your way out. So this is a straightaway, so it shouldn't matter where you're at. But with this horse, it does. So Frankie got him back, eased him out, and they got a jockey cam of the race. If you Google Frankie Dettori and the Diamond Jubilee, you'll see it. And Frankie was sort of at that time on the rise. He kind of went through a little bit of a lull. That's how I ended up being friends with him. Is that I met him over in Ascot, and I never met him before. I only knew of him. And my son Riley we met him in the jockey's room, and I invited him to Saratoga, and he was actually thinking about retiring. He told us, and so he came over to Saratoga to ride, and he won a few races for me on the weekend. He came, and he had a great time, and that's how I put him on Hootenanny, and he rode Hootenanny, and he won for me. And then from there, he hooked up after that with Gosden, and off he went.
Wow.
So it was just, it's been a great run with Frankie as well.
See, that's how I was getting kind of tongue-tied a little bit, because anything that I feel like, oh, is this an uncomfortable subject? My mind starts, the wheels in the mind start spinning. But I guess we'll just ask it. I mean, is it going to be cool when you see him in Ascot? Is it going to be like, hey, or has he hassled you at all that, in a fun way, that he's not riding any of the horses, or?
No, I talked to Frankie today, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in San Remo, Italy.
Oh, nice.
And and he's having a great time down there. And he's going to ride Twilight Gleaming for Barbara in Goodwood if we decide to go. And he understands that Irad is riding most of the horses and won on all the horses that are going, and he wished me the best of luck. And he said, if Irad stubs his toe, I'll be there. And I said, well, you're my man. So that's
okay.
where we're at.
No, so that's good to know. And speaking of horses running at different venues there in Europe, Stuart wants to know, hi, Wesley, I'm in UK and greatly looking forward to seeing your runners at Ascot. Will any be staying to run anywhere else in Europe, Newmarket or maybe France?
No, I've tried leaving horses there in the past for other races, and for whatever it is, it just doesn't work. I always bring them all home, and then I try to give them good spacing, and we've had a lot of luck going back again, if it's somewhere around 2 months or so from race to race. By the time they get home, get over the ship, and then start them training again to where they're peaking, and then and run again. For whatever reason it is, when we leave them over there, and it's a different training regime than they're accustomed here, and I'm not there. I'm do things over the phone, so my training is a lot visual, and it's one-on-one, and I don't have a set program. Every horse does something different all the time, and it changes from week to week, day to day. As we're walking to the track, my mind's always going, and I change things a lot. So it's not the same as if I'm not there tangibly seeing things.
It's completely understandable. Somebody did ask earlier, let's see, Alistar, he asked, where is it? Okay. But you're always so honest, and I think we've already discussed this before in the past, but just in case. So any reason Golden Pal ran badly at York?
That's a little bit of a head scratcher. I'm going over and over with what happened.
I know I was bothering you with that stupid question. Was it the?
No. It's I really don't know what happened. I mean, I got him back from when he ran big race at Saratoga. Yeah. It may have been too close from a big race to shipping over there and running. He shipped in beautiful. Frankie rode a what seemed to be a great race. Everybody over there was talking about, because we were breaking in the one hole all the way down. But
it looked like a rocket.
I liked that where we were. But I just think maybe Frankie just took a little bit too much of a hold, because maybe he displaced and cut off his air. Endoscopically, the horse didn't bleed. He was perfect. Everything worked. The function was normal. Horse came back sound. He was a little bummed out. He's very visual. When you see the horse, he was like, he knew he got beat, and he was not happy. But it's just it's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Well, we're not going to scratch our heads anymore. We're going forward. So going back to Campanelli, in the Diamond Jubilee now, are you following anything that's going on with the Queen right now and all the celebrations over there?
Not much. Focused on these horses.
I don't blame you. I've only seen a few things here and there on social media. There was a picture of her grandson making all these different expressions during one of the events, and I thought it was actually hilarious, because they were joking that you could make an emoji out of every expression. The one that I feel fits me most when I go onto social media is the one that's like that. But little kids, you gotta love it, and obviously with this being a giant event coming up, it's got the atmosphere over there's got to be electric right now. When do you yourself go out? You were talking about the horses going tonight. When do you go?
Saturday night. I'm running Arrest Me Red Saturday on in the Jaipur.
Okay.
At Belmont, and so I'm leaving at 6:10 on Saturday night.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go with that. Now, we're talking about, again, Campanelli and how she's already been a winner there at Royal Ascot. I was going to show the Giants Causeway, which is the stakes race she won there at Keeneland back on April 16th. And that was her last start. And let's see here. I'm just going to make sure I find the right replay right now. Here we go. And the thing about
Causeway Stakes, and there goes LZ.
Campanelli.
Campanelli.
Oh, let me make that even a little bit bigger.
LZ has the lead clear by a length. AG Indy now goes in the second position. Headline Hunter moves up between horses.
She's always been a bit of a bigger filly, right?
And then
yeah, she's a big filly.
And now that she's had all this more time to mature, what are your what's your assessment of her physically now? Because she looks beautiful out here.
Yeah, Irad rode a great race as well. And I told him a little bit like Undrafted, she likes to be on the outside, and he got her back. Had a good stiff hold of her the whole way from the gate all the way to the backside, and he got her back in the clear here. And as soon as she switches leads right there, she just kind of took off, and that's what you want to see, you know.
And this was a stake. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She was a little more prepared, I'd say, than Golden Pal going into this race, because she was down with Ian Brennan at Stone Street, and of which they missed no time at all with weather. So he had her ready to go. I didn't really have to do much with her to get her ready. Ian did a great job to where all I had to do was kind of keep her on cruise control into this race.
Come on, Wesley, where's your suit? Come on, stakes race.
I kind of look like a Miami guy, don't I?
Or you are Gulfstream. Come on. No, I'm joking. Oh no, she's a beautiful, beautiful filly. See, he even gave you the point. Like, well, yeah, man. Okay. So going back to talking about the Giants Causeway itself, was that stakes record time?
I think so.
I think it was, and what makes that all the more impressive, if that is the case, is that she, as we just saw, she did go so wide, just by nature of how many horses were there in the field, and then it did take a little bit because of that, having to come back in and straighten up to switch leads. So how much quicker could she have possibly gone?
She didn't have to go any quicker.
No, she didn't have to, but that could have been even running a faster time than that. So it was already so impressive. Let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions as we move along. So again, Platinum Jubilee for her, that she'll be closing out Royal Ascot for you in terms of your runners. But in between, sandwiched in there, we've got a very exciting filly. This is the Future Stars forecast. So we do generally talk about the horses we'll be running on Future Stars Friday, the 2-year-olds. Love Reigns. What an exciting filly this is. 2-year-old daughter of U.S. Navy flag, who he himself was a champion, brilliant horse, millionaire, son of Warfront himself. And then she just debuted, I believe this is his first crop, U.S. Navy flag that she's representing as well. This is another team of Stone Street and Ben McElroy with you. And she won by like 9 3/4 lengths. I have the replay here. It's not gonna, let's see here. Just want to make sure I've got the right file again. And this was impressive. So you'll see her there. It
Takes a little slow.
Go ahead and give us your rundown of this race, like you said, like you started off.
A little slow, and Irad kind of hustled her up there. And 5.5 furlongs is a long ways right now for a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
At that time of year, especially.
But she just explodes here, right?
She does. I'll tell you, it was very, very impressive. You know, here she's kind of cruising.
Switch the lead and buy.
Yeah.
Did you expect her to win first out? And even if you expected her to win first out, did you expect her to win first out like that?
No, because majority of her works were on the dirt here, and she's obviously purchased in Europe, so she's a grass filly. I'll tell you who did expect her to run like that was IRAP.
Really?
He breezed her many times down in Florida, and as well here in Keeneland for the meet.
Yeah.
And she's got a little. She hit her head there a little bit on one of the van rides.
Oh.
And so that's how he recognized the filly. He said, that's mine, Wesley. Don't be taking that. Oh, that one's mine. The one with it. I said, okay.
She's tough. She's tough. So she's going to be going in the 5 furlong Queen Mary Stakes. We already talked about Campanelli having won that for you, but you also won that race with Lady Aurelia back in 2016. You won it with Acapulco in 2015, Jealous again in 2009. Obviously, a lot of success. One of the things that we were talking about with the racing there, she's going to be going on the straight. Here we had that turn. But I would think that she'd be even faster not having to navigate a turn. What are your thoughts?
Again, this filly is a little bit like Twilight Gleaming. She's just a sweetheart. She doesn't have any issues, so I'm confident in her. And as long as we get over there, as good as she is right now, it's going to take a really good one to beat her. She does only have one race, which a lot of the horses over there have a little bit more race experience, but she's got several breezes here at Keeneland, so she's coming into it as fit as she possibly can. The only thing she's lacking is experience, but she's been down in Florida where she's moved around from Ian at Stone Street to Palm Meadows and Payson and Palm Beach Downs and now Keeneland. So she's kind of traveled around enough where she's seasoned. So we should be fine. And
the official margin, yes, 9 3/4 lengths. Very, very impressive. That was at Keeneland. And again, Love reigns. We'll see if she can reign there in the Queen Mary Stakes. Seismic Spirit. Now, this is a horse originally. I was reading an article about some of the horses you were planning to take over. One of them was going to be No Nay Hudson. You trained his sire, No Nay Never. But now he's actually going in the Tremont on dirt. And it looks like you're fitting in Seismic Spirit into the race that you were going to be pointing No Nay Hudson, and that being the Windsor Castle Stakes. How did you make that call?
He's a very talented colt, and he was a little chubby going into he's kind of, if you look at him, he's like so the race really,
Huey?
Yeah, the race kind of tightened him down, but not quite enough. Like, everybody's worried about losing weight.
That's shaming your horse.
I'm excited for him to get on the plane and maybe get nervous and lose a little weight. So he's, the race did tighten him down pretty good. He had a really nice breeze here the other day against Love Reigns. She was better than him of the two, but he had a really good work against her. So, he's going to go into the Windsor Castle, which is supposed to be the easiest of all the 2-year-old races being listed. But a lot of times it's 28 horses. It's a big field, and it can be tougher than say, the Norfolk. But we'll see. I mean, he's a very talented horse. I think he's going to move way forward in his next start.
Well, you won this race with Hootenanny in 2014, and you mentioned Strike the Tiger earlier. You won it in 2009 with him. Another, just being the petty geek, I really do love this horse's female family. I mean, it's the family of Champion Dictat, Park Appeal, Cape Cross, Effrage, which is pretty interesting because it's the female family responsible for Effrage, but then the dam is by Effrage herself. So it's kind of fun inbreeding there for you fellow petty geeks out there. Now, Ruthin, she's going to be coming into this race coming into the Palace of Hollywood House Stakes, rather. It's a pretty new handicap race, which is restricted to 3-year-olds. It's 5 furlongs as well. It's been around since now 2020, and it caps the day on Friday. And she's coming in off a win in the Limestone Stakes. You actually took her over there for the aforementioned Windsor Castle last year. It didn't go so well. But she went into the Windsor Castle off a debut win at Keeneland. And how do you think she's come into her 3-year-old season as a whole? Obviously, winning the Limestone, but now going to attack Royal Ascot.
She's had a couple of really good workouts here from her win. And when Marcus Hurst printed the form, or all these horses as well in the racing form, I gave him the rider and the horse, and for IRAD I put the weight on, and and I just forwarded it to Marcus, and the weight she's going to be carrying is about 135 pounds, because she is the high weight in the race.
Oh, wow.
The race is restricted from 0 to 105 rating, and she's got 105, the top rating. So Barbara was a little concerned about being 135 pounds, and I explained to her about how the handicap system works, to where she's, the handicappers obviously think she's going to be the best horse in the race, so they're going to put the highest weight, which she said, I already know that, Wesley, but I'm concerned about this weight. I said, don't worry, Barbara, so we're going to be just fine.
Oh, well, here she is in action in the Limestone back on April 15th. And how nice, right? I mean, you're basically on your home turf, literally. Your bar's right over there. It's got to be nice to just walk the horses over, and then come up and pick up a stakes race like this.
Yeah, I mean, look at her. She's going. She's got a big heart, and she's a runner.
Yes, she is. No, so that's Ruthin. Again, she's going to be in the Palace of Holyrood House Stakes, and she won the Limestone there. And that was her first start since the Windsor Castle back last year. So bringing a horse from that type of layoff, were you just hoping for a strong performance, or did you feel confident she was going to win here?
Well, this one even more so than Campanelle. This one was with Ian Brennan. He did an awesome job. Essentially, I think I only had one work. I took her up to Turfway and breezed her. Other than that, he did she missed hardly any training, being it with Ian down there, and did a great job to put her in the winner's circle in the stakes race there. And there's my youngest son, Jack, over here to the left of me.
Oh.
So I got to give it to him. So if I don't win this time, we're going to have to give it to Ian to train again.
Oh my gosh. I think I saw Riley too. Was he there in a cream suit, it looked like?
Probably.
Yes, he's so nice. So now let's talk about, did we cover everybody? Ruthin, Seismic Spirit. We talked about Love Reigns, of course, Campanelli, Golden Pal. Okay. So, and we also talked about Twilight Gleaming, which she's going to be up to. Now, as far as this week goes, going back to Golden Pal, because we do have a connection. On Thursday, on race 5 on Belmont's card, you've got 2 horses entered, one of which is a first-time starter. And that is Lady Wildcat. This is for Barbara as well. Stone Street Stable by Kodiak out of Vintage Molly. But you have Johnny Velasquez on her, but then you also have in this race, in post number, where is it? Post 2, there we go. You have her taking on Talkin' Pharaoh. Now, Talkin' Pharaoh's had one race under the girth by American Pharaoh, and then out of Just Talkin', who is a full sister to Lady Shipman, who is Golden Pal's dam. So we've got a relation here. We have like a cousin.
And who owns the horse?
Who owns that horse is Randall Lowe.
Go.
He's been very excited about Talkin' Pharaoh for a very long time. And again, it is cool that the dam here is a full sister to Lady Shipman. What similarities or differences do you see? Obviously, we have a different sire here, American Pharaoh instead of Uncle Mo. But the full sisters, did you see anything that you're like, oh yeah, okay, I see the relation here? I mean, we're already seeing the horse has some early talent. He just lost by a length and a half on debut.
Oh, I'm excited to get him on the grass, and hopefully it stays on the grass, because it's got a little rain in the forecast there. But I am responsible because I'm the one that bought him for Randy. I got to come through for him.
That's right.
Yeah, I picked the horse out, and when I seen Golden Pal in the pedigree, and he had a pocket full of money from selling Golden Pal to Coolmore, I figured this was a good time to hit him up.
That's right, parlay. Well, the thing I really like about it, not only are we now switching to grass, as you brought up, but we're getting a little bit more distance, which I would think with the American Pharaoh is only going to benefit him.
This guy looks like a sprinter. You know, if you
Oh,
see.
well, actually, we have. I've only seen the stretch here. I have a tiny little replay here that I somehow found on Twitter. So here we go. Let's see, share it, and then it is. Oh, yeah, it's this one. Okay. See if we can.
Simply Super ahead in front. Talking Pharaoh is fighting on, but second, Simply Super and Tyler Gaffalione. Simply Super getting up to win it. Talking
Oh,
Pharaoh
yeah, very.
second, Sergeant Counselor across the line and
got that shorter coupled body type.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 furlongs then looks to be right on target for him. Right there on the rail too. It's hard for a horse in their very first start to be on the inside like that.
No, we got beat on the squares. I mean, he broke.
Come on, let's give him an excuse.
I know. I can't give him one. He broke like a shot, and Maker's colt there. He just outran us. There's no excuses there. He beat us on the squares. So, but I really think he's going to move forward once we get to the grass, and hopefully it stays on.
Okay, well, hopefully it stays on. Are you going to keep him in either way?
Probably.
Okay. What about?
He runs good on the dirt. He's just going to probably be better on the grass.
Okay. Well, what about the stablemate, Lady Wildcat? Does she stay in either way? And what did you see in this filly that you're like, yeah, let's take on the boys here in this main special weight?
She's had a really nice work down at Palm Meadows on the grass, and all of her works up here since have been on the dirt, and they've been certainly a lot subpar than her turf work, which was really good. So she's just one that just doesn't like the dirt at all. So you can't really get a good read on her either way, other than the turf work she had there at Palm Meadows. So I'm looking forward to getting her on the dirt. I love to run the fillies against the boys. I think they come around a little quicker, and they're faster than the boys. And I really like to get Johnny Velasquez on the fillies because you get the weight off, and he's light, and so you get a full advantage of that. And I've had a lot of success with Johnny doing it.
Well, now let's talk about, let's see here, I'm just making sure. Later on that card, we already mentioned this horse. Race 8 on Thursday's card at Belmont, and it's the Tremont, which obviously has a long storied history in and of itself. 2-year-olds, 5.5 furlongs. This is on the dirt, and we were discussing No-Nay Hudson. He's drawn post 4. This was a horse you were considering originally for the Windsor Castle. He is here now instead. He's in off a 4-length victory, going 4.5 furlongs at Keeneland on the main track there, and a son of your No-Nay Never, which also speak to that. How cool is that to have a horse that you had so much success with, won the Norfolk at 2 years old with him, and then, he's had the success at stud. That's got to be, that's got to feel, I don't know. Do you feel like the horse is kind of family?
I'm really happy that he went on to be a great stallion, I'll tell you that.
Oh gosh. I mean, and one of the things that is really cool is that he was a horse that was really capable surface flex wise. I mean, he won his debut on synthetic, and then as we already discussed, he won the Norfolk, he won the Prix Morny Group 1, but he was also second in the Swale on dirt. So talk about No-Nay Hudson himself.
He's a very nice colt. He's a very typey sprinter type. I was really looking forward to getting him on the grass, and he's one that I told you that when we breezed him here, he kind of floundered the last part because he kind of went really, really quick early.
Okay.
He really didn't like the soft turf at all. I would have really liked it to have been firm ground to see what he could do. Otherwise, he may be on the plane this evening and with the others. But we had to make a decision with what to do with him. So, Charlie O'Connor, who manages the horse, said, "This is what we're doing," and I didn't oppose to it. I said, "Well, he's done it before," and he had a really nice work on Sunday at Belmont. So he does like the main track there at Belmont.
And here he is powering on down the stretch in that debut. And yeah, I mean, when you're talking about, you don't know what the weather's going to be like at Royal Ascot. I mean, I don't know how far in advance we get the forecast and how much we can trust any forecast, right?
Well, even over there, if it's a 80-degree day over there, Chris Stickles, he likes to ensure that the course is safe, so he pours the water to it. So even though you would think it'd be fast and firm, it's not.
No. Okay. Well, there you go. So what going now into all this week, it just sounds absolutely crazy. You have these horses running. You have somebody wants to know how Wesley Red is doing.
He's doing very good. He's doing very, very well. His first work back was a little bit subpar for him because he had such a big effort in the race at Churchill that he won. And then his subsequent work last week was much better. And then his work at Belmont over the grass course was great. So he's really starting to peak back into form.
And I see also, so Wesley Red in the grade 1 Jaipur, I also see you have hidden scroll now. Is that new?
What's that?
You have hidden scroll now? Is that new?
We do.
Oh my goodness. So how's that horse doing?
He's doing great.
So he's going to be running at Belterra. And then let's talk about Illegal Smile in the Intercontinental, coming off, I think, 2 back-to-back wins.
She would love it if the turf has some given to it. It really has had some big works here, over the last couple of weeks when it's soft. So if it does rain there, my buddy Gatewood Bell, he's probably going to go out to ask his wife for some permission there on Thursday night to get some Indian gals out there dancing, to get some rain dancing going on. But, he might give him a pass if we win the stake.
Oh my goodness!
Soft turf.
But again, just what a roster of horses you have. Are there any other 2-year-olds I should know about going forward? Because here's one of the things that you did say in your just to explain to people who aren't involved in racing day in, day out. One of the hard things that you had brought up regarding the 2-year-olds this year in particular is that the grass racing, it was hard to get a feel for which horses you would take to Ascot because there were only so many 2-year-old turf sprints run ahead of being, that point where you had to kind of figure things out.
Yeah, we've only had one handful.
What's changed?
I don't know. The races just didn't go in New York like they have in the past, it's just if you don't know what you have, it's tough to go over there and prove it. So we'd like to get more grass races go earlier on in the season to not just for me, for anyone that's going up and would want to get to Ascot.
Well, yeah, and the investment to send a horse over without having some idea, I mean, a risk that not many people have the constitution to want to take, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just we need more grass racing 2-year-olds early.
I know. Tell them. Yeah, tell them. So yeah, last question for you as we wrap things up here. With everything going on this week, getting these horses ready to ship out tonight, getting your horses that are still here stateside ready to run their respective contests, how do you keep it all under wraps? Don't let the nerves get frayed.
I've been doing this a long time now, and been back and forth to Europe for 15 years, and know the lay of the land over there, know the races, and I know my horses, and I know each horse that goes into each race, what would be best, at least going into the races, and it's pretty easy. It's a lot of work, and it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. You got to be there every single day, and managing things and staying on top of your horses, as all trainers are, and that's kind of the way it goes. It's a lot easier than it looks.
It's like the duck on the pond.
You got to have good people, though. I mean, I have a lot of people that do. 2 guys that are going, Manuel Frausto and Jose Reveles, they're cousins, and they started with me. They went with me the first few years over there, but they've been with me for 32 years now.
Oh, wow.
So that's a long time to be with me. Jose said the other day, he shook his head. He says, "I've been with this guy my whole life." So, and Blake Heath is going to fly on the plane on the FedEx plane with the horses. And so he's going to ensure that they get on and off and everything's done right with the FedEx going up to Indianapolis, and he's been with me forever. And I've got Mike Clark, that's the old cowboy guy that's been with me for 30-something years too. So it's the old crew. And over in England, we've got Ollie Sangster over there, the Sangster family. And he's been over here with me, and now he's over there working for Coolmore with Joseph O'Brien. He's with Joseph O'Brien, but Joseph graciously gave him a pass for the week. and so he knows, you know, he knows everybody on all the tracks and everything like that. So should be pretty seamless.
Oh, I don't know how you do it. I would be. I like to think that I can keep things pretty calm and cool and collected. You kind of have to when you have a 3-year-old. She's almost 4, and you've already gone through the youngster parenting part of the program, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, having to manage and know everything that's going on, it is like that duck on the pond where he looks very serene underneath those legs are just paddling away. Wesley, we are wishing you the best heading over there. Safe trips for everybody. Hopefully, some terrific history-making performances. How great would it be to see this horse win the Group 1 King's Stand? Talking again about Golden Pal, especially with the expectation that he's going to globetrot even further. But we thank you. And if you have any final words, and I'll let you close it out.
No worries, Ren. We're crossing our fingers, making sure everything goes good. So, but everything's great. And I'm so looking forward to next week.
Oh gosh, we are as well. Royal Ascot, June 14th through June 18th. And you can, I believe, watch on TVG. You can watch on and wager on it, of course. And like I said, we're wishing you the best. Everybody, this has been the first installment of your 2022 Future Stars forecast. I'm a little rusty, but I'm getting the hang of it. And there was no one better to share this space with me than Wesley Ward. Thank you again so much for your time, and best of luck.
Thank you, Ren. Have a good day.
You too.
Take care of that little one.
I will. Thank you, everybody.